was a snake.
Ooh.
I'm a well. But he's so loving guy. I like it. Rest in peace. We'll be doing a small tribute to him next week, Thursday, with Lobito and other top musicians.
Yeah, indeed, indeed. Let's start, Lagos. Let's start. We're going to start with this story here on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. PDP Governors Plan Summit as leaders exchange blows at BOT meeting.
I think that I'm coming to the realization that unless something happens, PDP will not resurrect, at least in the way it had always been. They've been infiltrated, but not just that. A lot of them have been willing to be infiltrated because, like I told you, politicians follow two things. They follow the money and they follow the power. And since they don't have a president, and they don't have enough governors to go around. That is what they're going to have. That is the story of Nigeria. So I suspect and unfortunately, because I've been a PDP lover somehow, I'd always have had sympathies for the PDP. Basically because I thought way back then, this was long before even the APC, I thought they were the most broad-based party in terms of national spread. Not anything special for that. Politicians, as far as I'm concerned, are the same. But especially with the will we say Wike has exited?
No, he hasn't.
With the stepping aside of Wike from active politics in the PDP, this is unexpected. But because I'm sure some of you remember the old Mr. Fix-It of that same PDP, who fixed everything, but the assignment given to him by government, he didn't fix the roads. The budget for the roads went, but he didn't fix any roads. So Wike too has been a very strong, like somebody said yesterday, a strong financier of the party. And with the strong financier of the party standing aside and romancing the APC, it is not unexpected that this fights and whatever will go on. I don't want to bore you with the details, but I think that we are beginning to see the extinction of the PDP as we've always known it. Because, like I said, politicians follow the power and they follow the money, and so that's the story of Nigeria. But something also is beginning to show that there could be a third force, like the APC that came out that time to challenge the PDP. There could be a third force in the coming. The only problem they have is that if you follow the APC, you follow the money and you follow their power, most likely your appetite will be well satisfied. There seems to be enough to go around. So let's see if that will happen or not.
If the PDP is allowed to disintegrate, which is looking like the direction it's going every now and again, is that not an indictment on the founding fathers of the party? Who
I won't bother to say that, because the founding fathers of the party are the same founding fathers of all the other parties, and like I said, PDP politicians always follow the power and the money. There are very, very few committed politicians in the era we have today. I remember in the days of the APC, there were some die-hard Awois. You don't have such people anymore. It's about convenience. How can I fit in? How can I slot myself in? That's why Atiku, that is complaining the most, he's flip-flopped about 3 or 4 times. And he's one of the founding fathers. It's flip-flopped. So it's part of their DNA, really. And trying to do analysis on political developments in Nigeria is giving yourself a headache that paracetamol cannot cure.
For a party that has about 12 governors, how is that so much an impossible task for them to put their party together?
The main.
I mean, APC didn't have as much as that when they were in opposition.
The main culprit in this is the loophole that Wike has created. Everything is about following the money and following. If Wike hadn't been a minister and he had the River State governor under his control, the way maybe he would have wanted it, maybe we wouldn't have all this. That is one. Two, I believe that most politicians play both sides of the divide.
Double agent.
But they are double agents. For example, in my wildest imagination, I've sometimes thought that, how are we sure that Atiku himself has not at one point or the other done Tinubu himself a favor to get to power? I don't trust these politicians. I said, how am I sure? I'm not accusing him of anything, but how am I sure? My mind is always open when it comes. You don't even know who is who. You don't know who is who. So if you notice, I avoid political stories because you give yourself a headache. You don't know who is who. You can't say for sure that this man is devoted. You can't say for sure.
Does this have any connection to building a strong nation?
No connection at all, because they are not interested in building schools. Most of them are interested in their pockets. You better get that right, get that into your head now. Yes. If you don't get that, you will be disappointed. All these things we talk about, statesman, building nation, everybody is every man for himself and God for us all. That is why you can see, even the government in power has no central line. The government in power itself has no central. That's why everything is scattered, including the presidency. Because everybody is in there for his own. Okay? You can see down the line. Do you see? What do I mean by central? I remember in the days of the UPN, it's a pity I always use the UPN, and even the MPN at that time, and the MPP. You could see something down the line. You could see that, okay, this is a manifesto, we are going to follow it. But nowadays, what do you have?
They still have manifestos.
That they follow.
I don't know.
Forget the propaganda. Everybody, even administered, you can see, we have a disjointed government. Do you see something central in this government we are running? Or even in the party itself, even the party in power. Wait, when it's getting towards 2026, you will begin to see that the APC is not as solid as you thought it was, depending on who is where.
Let's go quickly pick up our next story. Still on page 2 though. I have this one here that reads tariff hike, Labour plans telecom boycott February 4 protest.
This is just it's not the way to go. You must have a tariff hike. What you should do? I would have been more interested if the Labour people had said, we're going to sit down with Engineer Adebayo, who is the head of the road, and see if we can parley with him and negotiate with him and see if we can get the lowest rate for our citizens. How can you just plan boycott? Because there's been an increase. You didn't plan boycott when there was increase. There's been increase in food, increase in transport, increase in every other thing. Now you think telecoms is a soft whatever to point, and we know the name of the game. People think that telecoms companies have a lot of money to spend. They might be surprised this time that these companies might not be willing to do so. Everybody knows there is a need for a tariff increase. Yes, we might not agree on the percentage, but why not tarry a while, interact with them, let the Labour say, look, why do I call him Mr. Adebayo, get your people together, let us just sit down and judge and give us the various soft landings. Instead, they say that they want to go on a nationwide protest against the 50% telecoms tariff announced by NCC. Good luck to them. As usual, they will huff and puff and won't blow the house down. I would advise the telecoms companies to keep on trying to see how they can get the best for Nigeria. If you can, NANS, for the sake of the youth, engage with the telecoms. The telecoms is not the only thing that has gone up. Transport went up, you didn't do anything. Petroleum went up. We have very serious problems that the NSC should get involved in that they didn't. So why? Because you think it's a soft part. When petroleum, whatever went in, didn't you end up negotiating somewhat? Second base there, just.
Throw my paper away.
No, I didn't. I threw it. I threw it in the opposite direction.
You see, through.
I threw.
All right, let's move on to our next story. I thought I saw PTO somewhere here, but I think we just have to.
Okay. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go take our next story here. We have this one on the page 6 of the Punch newspaper. Council unveils Remi Tinubu Health Center.
Okay, now I want everybody to listen to this. It's a very sensitive thing, but I want to explain it in detail. Now it's become the habit to name everything after the president or his wife or his family. And that is not going to hold the president himself in good stead. And I think it needs to put some control into this. Granted, everybody wants to be seen to show so-called appreciation and whatever for the president. But you can't name everything after him. You can't name everything after him because at the end of the day, it's not going to hold him in good stead. It's going to come out looking like a megalomaniac. The other day, they built some barracks were opened up in Abuja. Instead of, I would have thought that if you want to name a barracks after anybody, it would be an old soldier in honor of an old soldier who has shown a lot of bravery, either dead or alive. But again, everybody ran to the president and named it Bola Tinubu. The things that are named after Bola Tinubu now are unimaginable. And I think that, in all honesty, the president should know that this will last only for his tenure. It might not be good. History might not be kind to him when he does leave. And so he has to draw the line to say, look, I've had enough of naming things after me. I think Fashola drew the line when he was governor. He didn't allow them name so many things after him. It's a mark of politicians, civil servants, and sycophants. We got his support. Let us name it after him. Let us name it after him. The number of things, like I said, named after him and his wife. It's not. The other day, a statue was erected, I think, in Ile-Ife or something.
Yes.
Let's be honest with ourselves. These things are awards, honors, titles, and so on and so forth. At the end of the day, really, if you are not careful, they have no meaning. In fact, if you are not careful, they bring the recipient into ridicule. So I would like to plead with the president, don't get carried away by all these things. Put a halt to this. Maybe long after you have gone and people now want to honor you with something, that would be more appreciated. But this is one too many. Where was named? The Koyoba Lende Local Government Council area has unveiled a Senator Oluremi Tinubu Primary Healthcare Center. First and foremost, the idea of naming everything after somebody needs to be taken away from our minds. It could jolly well have been a Ikoyi Health Center or whatever, And then usually it's better to name something. It's more honorable to somebody who is no longer relevant in the system. Then it has a meaning. And if I wanted to name a healthcare center, it would be after a medical personnel. Let's put some thought into the things we do, and we have to help those who are exposed to power to manage them. My advice to the president and his wife is to say to people, look, let's put a hold to these things before we come out as megalomaniacs. Everywhere you turn is named after the president or his wife, or maybe, again, if care is not taking his son.
I was discussing something similar with a colleague yesterday about the sycophancy of
it's unprecedented.
Of politicians and their followers and all of that. And come to think of it, is it about naming a health center after the wife of the president, or about the functionality of the center itself?
We have a more serious problem, in the health. We have a more serious problem. More than anybody would imagine. If you find yourself where you need health care, you will know what I'm talking about. More serious things. We've had Oniko Health Center, Randall Health Center in Apapa, named after Randall Street. a Sulere Health Center. Why do this? They name everything. They even named. I saw one local government. The local government building itself is named after the president or his wife. Let's stop this thing, and let's show some seriousness, for God's sake.
We're going to go take our next story very quickly. Let's do this story on page 10 of the Punch newspaper. Farotimi's lawyer chides police as court strikes out cybercrime charges.
Only Premium Times finally yesterday reported that Farotimi has no comment on the deal. No comment. So yesterday in the Federal High Court, the suit was thrown out. But Farotimi's lawyer, Adeyinka Olumide Fusika, SAN, described the discontinuation of the suit as a missed opportunity. A missed opportunity for the court to correct the police on the use of the Cybercrime Act, which I also believe has been seriously abused by the police. Everything, as I'm speaking now, if I'm not careful, my next sentence could lead me to face a cybercrime charge. Yes, but I think that the lawyer was also being kind. They would have also liked the opportunity to prove some of the things that Farotimi alleged in his book, but unfortunately that is not going to happen. But I'd call on my colleagues to sit up in their job. Only the Premium Times yesterday were able to get from Farotimi a no comment, which in itself is a story on its own. So, yeah, so that was that's.
Okay.
Oh, this guy was 70 yesterday.
Who's that?
Femi Pedro.
Oh.
Congratulations to him. Yes, the former deputy governor. Was Femi Pedro. Femi Pedro.
Why did they use that picture though?
Because he's looking so young. We all look young. I know he was my classmate.
Yeah.
He was my classmate, Peddy. Because that's it. He's looking dandy, like he's 60.
This picture is a picture of a 50-something.
No, it still looks like this. So I can bring him to the studio. Yeah, indeed, I'm going to bring him to the studio. But congratulations, Peddy. You didn't invite me. Is it because I'm not...
You're not...
I wouldn't have gone anyway. That's like enemy territory.
Let's take this one here. Consulting professor to select Alaafin against custom. Prince tackles Makinde.
Now, we all know what happened. I think the Governor Makinde got wind. I think he got wind that the kingmakers in Oyo have been compromised. So this is one of the stories I was told. I'm not confirming it. So in his own thinking, he said, okay, let me say Ifa is supposed to be responsible for determining who the next.
That's right.
So he now consulted Professor Wande Abimbola, former VC Ife, who is a renowned Ifa priest, and gave him the job of letting Ifa decide who would be the next Alaafin. Now, the way I look at it is that he has breached the traditional requirement. But the issue, I think, is going to court. So I can't say anything beyond that.
Why did he go to Professor Wande?
Because he believed that in fact, it was said that he got the ESCC involved. He believes that the kingmakers had been compromised.
What tradition is a tradition?
Well, the matter, I think, is in court somewhat.
Because I know that
it's difficult for me to comment on that.
No, let's on difficulty if there's a word.
No, they say one. Least of all, they want in your state. I don't know. I don't have any. That's your area. If they lock both of us up now, it's home for you. It will bring food for me from Lagos. But I'm not going to say anything.
unless the Yoruba movies have been lying to us, there's usually an Oluawo.
No, I said that. I said that
so,
to the best of my knowledge, I think the traditional provision has been breached.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, because I haven't heard anywhere where you'd go call some professor, no matter how honest he is, who are differ to the. You have to follow. I believe that certain processes have to be followed.
That's right.
But these processes have been breached across the board. That's why you have so many Swedes challenging. There are some Obas that are 6-8 years on the throne.
Who is responsible for this breach?
The politicians.
The Mackindays and.
No, not the Mackinday. No, I didn't.
But he just did it.
No, Sheriff.
He just did the same thing.
How many times did I call you? I don't have anybody in Ibadan. I'm not even sure that I can get my medication to buy in Ibadan if I'm in detention. But the politicians, there are so many traditional rulers whose rise to the. There even claims that some are not even princes. Yes. And if it's the fact that I think I know, it's not going to be not going to be producing one or two rascals that I can see who claim to be traditional rulers. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's my belief. If we because we don't stick to these things, that's why we will never progress. But it's been compromised across the board, and I think that the gentleman probably thinks this is a way to solve the problem, but it might not be. It might not be. It might not be. But like I said, I don't want to. I'm not from. But my mother's side, we have something to do with them in Oyo, but.
That brings me to another conversation concerning religion and culture.
Okay.
And religion is just a part of the main thing is culture. My question is: have we then been living a lie, believing that tradition, culture, very strong, potent, active? If people can interfere in traditional issues, corrupt it, and get away with it. Back in the day, at least what we are made to know is that, tradition catches up with you. If you do anything evil, if you do anything bad, if you do anything untoward, you get the repercussion and all of that. But it's almost as though everything has been washed down the drain.
I will answer, unfortunately, in Yoruba. Somebody will have to translate. Just one sentence. There's a price to pay for it. Ṣé ìlú tòrò ni? Is there peace in the land? Do you look at the countries that are showing a lot of promise? They've stuck to their own traditional culture and their religions. Look at India. Look at China. Look at India. Look at China. India, through all attempts to westernize them, they stuck mainly to their culture. And see where they are now. China, I don't need to add that. Look at. So Africa is going to pay a big price. Okay, we're going to pay a very big. Sheriff, I want you to close your eyes and imagine if we were under the way God set us up. Half of the things we see today, 3/4 we will not see. It's Westernization that has killed us. They've killed us, and it was done deliberately. Once you confuse people's minds, they can never progress. I saw the former president of Kenya. I saw him on TV early this morning. He was making fun of his people because it was said that Trump has cut aid to African countries on HIV. His people were going into a panic. He started making fun of them. Is it your money? Sense of entitlement. Until we begin to do the things that our tradition demands, we'll be in confusion. And they will be the things that will divide us. You are asking me. We are paying for it already.
Already paying for it.
We are paying for it. Where you will get a traditional ruler kneel down in front of a Dio with a crown on his head on Yoruba soil. You don't know the essence of. Do you know the power in the soil, in the whatever? Forget what people tell you. There are some things that you can never take away. There are some things you can never take away. Yes, we are accommodating, but we've blown a very serious opportunity and we are going to pay dearly for it. You have the custodians of your traditional culture and religion condemning. There was one that even went to condemn it in another country outside. I saw the video. Because of what now? We don't know. We don't know the essence of colonization. We don't know. We don't get it. So they'll make a multi-billionaire out of him. But we all are going to pay for it. Translate that one. You see, one of the reasons why you can't translate it is the tragedies that we are talking about. You can't even translate eku, kebi, eku, eye, okebi, eye. A tragedy.
Okay, we're going to go to the Vanguard now. But is there a way back from all of this?
It's late. The horse has bolted. And people have been completely misled. We didn't know the politics of religion. We didn't know the politics of Western education at the expense of your own educational practices. Those who knew it are where they are now. India has gone far. China have gone far. They didn't fall for the Western propaganda, but we did. So it's too late. If you ask the average Nigerian now, will you want to go to America or we do want to go to salvation? Let me go to America first. Our minds have been warped. And nothing can change it again. It's too late. Our traditional people, they've sold us out now. When you see your Oba kneeling down for what is the basis? What is left? What is left?
Or somebody pulling the beards of an Oba and say that they...
Might say, don't even go there.
They're close.
Don't even... That institution is dead, as far as I'm concerned. It's just a... What, is it just that? Do you know how many Obas we have now? I'm an Oba now. The only Erikmo, very small. One and two. Everybody can be an Oba, make me sense. It's become ridiculous, Sheriff. And what do? Come out in, oppress the people, come out in this grandiose whatever and oppress the people psychologically. There was one that that was made an Oba traditionally here in the southwest here. A pastor told him told him in public to go there and deal with the Philistines in that place. Who are the Philistines? The original people. Yes, a pastor. Publicly.
We have to go now.
So you don't know Eku, maybe Eku, don't know what it means. Well.
Oh yeah, help me now.
I know. Every man for himself, so that Abadado alone. I will be able to answer, you will not. Once they give me a room and parlor, they will tell you to say the passage. I'm a pumping for me to my well.
So you mean there won't be borehole in heaven?
There will be borehole.
Sorry.
You are sent to kill me this one.
We have to go. Lagos Coffee is next.
It all starts with you.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.